We're going to start in what's basically a modified hero. So hero or thunderbolt pose is just when you sit on your heels. Now, for some people, it's like, that's horrible. Blocks are wonderful things to sit on. Like this, or 2 blocks, or stack one and then one on top, or that way, or sitting in a chair. If you're in a chair, just tucking your heels underneath your chair a little bit creates that same idea of sitting on your heels. So whatever is right for you, that's a perfectly good setup. And then all of a sudden you're channeling your inner hero, or like a shogun, like if you're in a martial arts movie. And that brings us to our theme, is about being a warrior. So find what's comfortable for you, because we're going to be sitting here for a second. Also, if blocks are your problem, but flattening your foot is, you can use a rolled up towel right at your ankles, and that gives you a little bit of space there that sometimes helps people be able to sit in this position. So let's look at it. Okay. And the reason why I want you to sit in this sort of warrior position is because that's our theme today, is warrior. And while you're sitting, I'm going to tell you the story of a traditional Hindi myth, and it has to do with the god Shiva and his lady god friend Shakti. And Shiva is one of the big 3 gods in the Hindi pantheon, and he is the destroyer. He usually the bad boy of in the god world. He is dirty. He has dreadlocks. He wears a snake as a necklace. And as the destroyer, you often think of that as being like the bad guy, the heavy. But in this tradition, it's being the destroyer is kind of like the recycler, being able to break things down so that new things can grow is his job. And his co-goddess, Shakti, they both have avatars that come to Earth in different forms. And at one point, she comes to Earth as a human. Her name is Sati, and Sati has a human father, and she's growing up in this human life. And because they have this relationship, she's this human who is in love with Shiva. And when she comes of age, her family's rich. Her dad wants her to get married to some prince. And she wants to marry Shiva. And so the dad throws a party where she's supposed to choose her husband from all the people who come to the party. Every eligible person in God from all around is invited, except Shiva, because he's the bad boy. And of course, she resents her father and marries him. Anyway. So Shiva and Shakti, and Shiva and Sati, depending on how you want to think about it, live happily. And then Dad, in this passive-aggressive mood, decides to have another party and invite all the gods except Shiva. And the daughter is so that she bursts into flames. She self-combusts, burns up and dies. And Shiva is so angry at the dad that he breaks off one of his dread dots and throws it into the ground and creates the warrior to go to the party. People meet him. And so the warrior comes. Here's warrior one. Warrior comes out of the ground, reaching through, burrowing through the ground, right into the party. And then warrior two starts chopping people's heads off. Everybody in the party, warrior two, knives on the ends of his head. Then people start fighting back. So he does a matrix move, which is called reverse warrior. And then he starts shooting off again for extended side angle and chops off some more people's heads. And just destruction all over the party. And he makes this dance of all these moves, just carnage everywhere. And he chops off the father's head and just blood and gore everywhere, and then comes up to Shiva and is like, dude, I gotcha. And Shiva is filled with regret and remorse that he just lost the handle and lost control and killed all these people. And he feels so bad that he takes a goat's head and plops it on the dad's head, shoulders, and he brings the dad back to life. And the dad is so sorry that he didn't invite Shiva and that his daughters is burnt up, that they end up hugging it out. And then Shiva has to live for millennia filled with regret because Shiva or Shakti doesn't come back to life for 1,000 years. So that's the story of the warrior, and we're going to embody the warrior as we go through today. So I'm going to join you back in hero pose, and we're going to go from hero to what's known as gate. So that's just with one leg out. I'm going to start with my right leg out. And this will be an inner thigh stretch. For some of you, it can be pretty intense. Be careful not, about your knee joint, kind to yourself. And I'd like you also to try to put your foot parallel to the edge of your mat, or facing towards front. Because when we start to stand in this position, you'll have your foot in basically that same position. Now we're going to add a side bend stretch by taking your right hand and gliding it down your right leg till you start to feel it in your side here. And then intensify that stretch by adding your arm towards the sky, and then intensify it even more by turning your palm towards your extended foot and bringing your arm over your head. So your body's making like a C shape. And this is basically reverse warrior pose while standing on one knee. But this is your back leg in reverse warrior. I'm going to move from here to extended side angle, but still on one knee. So some of you might want a block or two for under your left hand, and try not to have your collapse into your shoulder next to your ear. Push into the ground, whatever ground suits you. And arms back your shoulders, and then twist your hand, your palm of your hand towards the front of the room and then arm over your head for a long side stretch on your right side body from your fingertips all the way down to your toes, or your heel, I guess, at this point. And then we're gonna make a little bit of a flow out of it. So come on to your knees, your knee again. And on an inhale, we'll lean to the right towards the extended leg. And on an exhale, go the other way. So on your next inhale, bring your overhead to the right. And exhale, over to the left. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. One more set. And then come on up and switch legs. And as you're getting stretched out, I'm going to listen to it. So now our left leg is straight. Right leg is, you're standing on right leg. Try to bring your foot so it's parallel to the back edge of your mat. And just kind of breathe into the stretch for a couple breaths before we move into our reverse warrior on a knee. And then go ahead and glide your left hand down your left leg. Add your right arm straight up first. Feel a side stretch on this side, as well as the inner thigh stretch. And then accentuate the stretch even more by twisting your palm towards the extended leg and bringing it over your head. Try to keep breathing. This is the equivalent of reverse warrior on one knee. And then come on over to the right side, using whatever supports you're interested in, or doing this from a chair. First, stack your shoulders. Try not to collapse, push out into the ground, reach up towards the ceiling, and turn your palm towards the front of your mat, and bring your arm over your head. And come on out, and we'll do a little bit of flow, one breath, one movement. So inhale, make a big C. Exhale, one big line. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. And come on onto your knees, and actually we'll go into tabletop. So hands and knees. Check in that everything's parallel, stacked like it's supposed to be. Really think about pressing in underneath your index finger, particularly maybe screwing your hands into the ground, and then internal rotation. And then let's do a couple scapular push-ups and really focus on your shoulder blades. So kind of hammock your shoulders and then push out and down. And feel your shoulder blades kind of sliding out to the side, kind of coming together, and sliding out. And hold on, I'm making soup and it's boiling over. Get me right from here. super. From here, let's just go into down dog. And it's our first down dog, so we come, shift your weight, let your head dangle. Keep breathing. And then come, walk your feet towards your hands. From forward fold and dangle from here. And then when you're ready, come on up to standing. To get us a little bit warmed up before we go into the warrior dance, we'll do a couple moon salutations. So check in with your mountain. I'm at the front of my mat this time. When you're ready, put your arms up and then fold forward, flat back, and then take a big step back with your left foot. Bring your knee, left knee down to the ground, top of the foot to the ground, and inhale and come on up, using whatever support you need for a low lunge, whatever that looks like for you. And for our first one, we'll hold it for a couple breaths. And then go ahead and put both hands down in front of you and bring your leg back to tabletop and shift into down dog. And then shift forward into plank. See if you can be strong and have a good plank. Remember, supports, hands on blocks, whatever you need to make it so that you can do this. And then we'll shift forward for a yoga push-up. Belly to the ground, tops of the feet to the ground for cobra. Hold our cobra for a couple breaths too. Very first one. And then down dog again. And then left foot forward for low lunge again. For this first one, we'll hold and we'll make it more into a flow. And from here, you're going to come into forward fold. So however that happens for you, come onto the back toes, bring your right foot to meet your left, forward fold, then flat back, forward fold again, and stand up, arms up, back to mountain. Okay. We're going to do it again. More of a flow to it. I'm adding a little bit of strengtheners in the middle. So check in. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot back, knee down. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now we're going to add our little ab work. So just bring your right knee towards your belly And then shift forward into plank, bringing your right knee towards your right elbow. And then back to down dog. So it's a three-legged dog, and then right knee to left elbow. And then kick it back, down dog again. Then forward to your right knee, right elbow. Downward dog again, three-legged dog. Right knee, left elbow. Three-legged dog, then four-legged dog. And go ahead and shift forward, plank, and then lower down. Cobra. Down dog. And then left leg forward, low lunge. And then feet together, forward fold, flat back, forward fold, stand up, arms up, mountain. Do it again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left leg, big step back, knee down. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then we'll do a little ab work. So left knee in, left knee to left elbow. Three-legged dog, left knee to right elbow. Down dog, shift forward. If you have breath, it's inhale back, shift forward, exhale. Inhale, down dog. Bring your legs together for a four-legged dog. Then giant step forward with your left foot, knee down, low lunge. And then feet together, forward fold, flat back, forward fold, stand up, arms up, and mountain. Okay, feel a little warmer now, right? And we're gonna add the warrior dance piece. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna take another giant step back with my left leg. And this is crescent. We do have a flip grid this week that I forgot to announce last class, which is crescent. This is crescent, so staying up on the back toe. Dropping the back foot is now warrior one, very similar to crescent, just a little bit different foot orientation, and warrior two. So that's the flip grid. Try to do both sides if you can, just to keep your body symmetrical. But let's right now, warrior one, couple breaths here. So really strong foundation. Be able to see your big toe. If you can't, maybe stretch, wiggle one of your feet out. Super strong arms coming out from the ground to take revenge on your really bad father-in-law. And then warrior two, super strong arms, ready to chop off heads. And then we're gonna reverse warrior from standing. So glide your hand down and bring your arm over like matrix. Still in the lunge. Couple counts here. And then bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Shoot your arm overhead for extended side angle. And then one breath back. And the cue for many people in a traditional vinyasa yoga class is the 3 poses that make up a vinyasa, which are plank, cobra, and down dog. So from here, bring your hands down for plank. Shift forward, lower down, and then cobra. And then tuck your toes, shoot your hips to the sky for down dog. Those 3 poses are considered a vinyasa. Now the next cue is often bring your left leg at this point. We just had our left leg back. Left leg forward till it's between your hands. And for a lot of us, that's not where your foot goes. So let's talk about options. Well, first of all, for the vinyasa itself, plank, cobra, down dog, blocks are super helpful, particularly if you're having wrist problems. You can dangle your hands over the edge of your block, and it also makes your arms longer, which is easier for your down dog. So if I say bring my right leg forward, I have a better chance if I'm on blocks. But the first thing that you need to know is that this pivot, so if I bring my right leg forward as far as it'll go from down dog, I usually don't get it very far. So if I just bring my left leg to my chest from down dog and then shift forward, look how much further my knee has gotten, so I have a better chance of coming down with it towards my hands. You don't want to come up when it's like this because you're really putting a lot of stress on your knees. So how do you so one option is from down dog, shift forward like we were doing in our push-ups, and that sometimes can get you to bring your foot close enough. Now I feel like my legs are longer than my arms, so sometimes for me, particularly if I don't have a block, the only way I'm going to get my foot to follow that cue is to bring my leg around the side until it's outside of my hands, and then kind of wiggle it in to come up to warrior 1. So you might try that. So if this pivoting doesn't work, or the block doesn't work, or you want to try something else, try swinging your leg around the side, the outside of your hands, to be able to come up into warrior 1. And the last option for bringing your hand up is to go drop into tabletop, bring your leg forward where it's supposed to be, and then just popping back up into a lunge position. And if you need a chair to be doing this on, then you don't even have to worry about it. And I'll give you an option if you want to avoid the vinyasa at all. But a lot of the flow classes in LA are vinyasa based, and so you'll see these cues. And what does that mean? So now my left leg is forward, drop the back foot. So remember, on the top of the back foot is crescent, dropping the back foot is warrior 1, adding arms if you feel like it, or grabbing onto your chair, or sitting on your chair is perfectly good. Now, so don't twist my back again, away from you and switch sides. Warrior 1, warrior 2, reverse warrior, extend side angle, reverse, and then vinyasa, which would mean come down, hands next to that foot, bring that foot back, and then plank, Shift forward, lower down for cobra, and shift back for down dog. And then sometimes the cue might be right leg to the sky and then swing it forward. So your foot is between your hands. So do that accommodation. Sometimes it's like, for me, it's a shift everything into my left hand so I can bring my foot forward. Whatever that looks like for you to get the foot far enough forward, come down, breathe up, whatever. And then drop the back foot and rise for warrior one. And again, I'm going to switch orientation side. Warrior one, warrior two, reverse, extend, reverse, back down to plank. However that happens for you. Shift forward, lower down, cobra, downward facing dog, left foot, swing it however it's going to go for you. Drop the back foot, warrior one, warrior two. So I don't face behind you. Warrior two, reverse, extend, reverse. And let's say you're tired. So while everybody else is doing plank, cobra, down dog, you can bring your left foot back and warrior one. Just don't get down. Nobody says you have to get down. So if you're in a class and that's the cue, just don't do it. Give yourself a break. If that's where you're at, be a warrior. So let's do one more set. Inhale, warrior one. Oops, facing the wrong direction again. Inhale, warrior one, warrior two, reverse, extend, reverse, down to the ground, or just stand there. Plank, lower down, cobra, downward facing dog. If you're standing, shift your right leg back. The rest of us are shifting our left leg forward. Warrior one, warrior two, facing the wrong way, I know. Reverse, extend, reverse, come down for our last time. Plank, lower down, cobra, downward facing dog. Awesome. Chest here. Could go ahead and come on to your hands and knees, and then go ahead and sit down from down dog. So we're ready to come to the ground. Good job. We have a couple more poses before we go into our close. And they're different versions of what they call fallen warrior. So I was on the tabletop. Now I'm going to sit on my left hip. And then I'm going to extend my left leg so it's straight. Bringing my right leg over for some support or just a place to put my arm. And some of us can feel this a stretch in our hip or lower waist. If this is too much, you can come on an elbow and If you're not feeling anything, try shifting your weight forward. So spinning a little bit more on the front side of your thigh. And that might shift your stretch. Or back, and just see how slightly rotating this back leg externally or internally rotating it, and how that might shift where you're feeling the stretch. And this is one version of what's called fallen warrior. Another version of fallen warrior adds a twist. So we're going to try that. What you do for that is I'm going to take this left leg that's down in contact with the ground. I'm going to swing it forward so it's kind of a 90-degree angle from the rest of my body. And then I'm going to straighten my right leg, the top leg as well. So I'm making that out of my legs. Now, if this is too much, then reduce the angle or bend the front knee. If you want more sensation, try to widen and flex both of your feet, keeping both legs very straight. Okay, so the next piece of this is to come down on an elbow. And then come down on both elbows. So we're starting to twist. Some of you might stop here, depending on what your body's doing. Do not over twist, please. I don't want any injuries, but if you're pretty flexible, you can come down onto your chest. And if you'd like to, turn over onto your your right cheek, look behind you, away from your feet. And that intensifies it even more. And the last way to intensify it is you roll onto your your right shoulder. You maybe have something underneath your head, like a block or a towel. And straighten your legs. And this is for me, I can feel it in my IT band, which is the outer thigh. Not too much. Again, fallen warrior. It's also called fallen sage and fallen angel. So whatever you feel like embodying right now. And go ahead and come on up and we'll switch sides. So right leg straight and outer right thigh in contact with the ground. Crossing over with my foot, maybe chilling out with it, and then rotating this thigh until I feel and stretching my waist hip area, rolling it left or right. And you want to come down if you want to. And then we're going to switch leg positions. So my bottom leg, my right leg, is kind of going to kick it out so it's kind of perpendicular to my mat. Hopefully you have room for this stuff, right? Left leg is straight and parallel with the rest of my torso. And I happen to be down on one elbow. If you're not on one elbow yet, come down to one elbow. Figure out what you need. Flexing both feet, locking out your knees will accentuate the stretch. Decreasing the angle and bending your knees will decrease the amount of stretch. And try coming back down on both elbows, looking down to start your twist. And either stay here or come down onto your chest. Either stay here or look the other direction and either stay there or roll onto your left shoulder. I'm not gonna do that today. Whatever's right for you, this fallen warrior. And breathe. Okay. Now, find your favorite position for Shavasana, and for the Shavasana, I'll just talk to you for half of it, and we'll be silent for half of it. So settle in. Notice your breath and your connection with the ground or whatever helps you find a position of rest. And want to revisit the story of Shiva and Sati that we started the class with. Wanted you to have images as we did what's known as the warrior dance. But the moral of the story is multifold, but one of the morals is don't judge. The father judged the daughter judged Shiva, the daughter judged the father, Shiva judged the father, and it all got into a very big mess. The second moral would be don't let your emotions get out of control. Don't let yourself be in the fight or flight response unless your life is actually in danger. It's wonderful, it's important to get angry, but if you're getting angry because you want positive change, reacting from the fight or flight response isn't going to get you where you need to be. Now, if where you need to be is a safer place, then like a physically safer place, then fight or flight is absolutely critical. The problem is that we, as human Americans, love to trigger that fight or flight response for situations that are not life-threatening. We often have that triggered when our thoughts and our emotions start derailing. And often it's self-judgment, thinking you're not doing it right, is where the judgment comes in. But every good warrior has shields to help protect themselves. So when you're in a state of dysregulation, what helps you come back to your strength? For many people, it's movement. For some people, it's opening your eyes. There's a myth that you need to meditate with your eyes shut. But there are actually many traditions, Zen traditions, that say that the best way to meditate is to keep your eyes open. In that context, stare at a wall. Sometimes, instead of having your breath as your anchor, it can be helpful to think about something else, like your feet, to help ground you. Or looking outside, watching a bird or squirrel, or whatever might be there, rat. Sometimes it's noticing the sounds around you. You can use your shields to decrease the intensity. And only you are going to know if you're challenging yourself appropriately. Sometimes our default is to take the easy way out. I'd like to challenge you to try to build your strength. But sometimes we expose ourselves to unnecessary challenge. Because we have a preconceived idea of what's supposed to happen or what it's supposed to look like. So can you use your strength and challenge yourself when you need to, and use your shields to protect yourself when you need to. And can you tell yourself, I am strong, I am a warrior. Go ahead and start to lengthen your breathing. Maybe start wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe do wrist circles or ankle circles. Maybe give yourself a stretch. Come on up to sitting. And may you put the inner light in